Project Green School Education is a promotion of sustainable use of cultural and natural heritage and resources. Project code 15.2.1001. The project is co-financed by the European Union through European Regional Development Fund under the Intergraph 5A Romania-Bulgaria program. The content of this movie does not necessarily represent the official position of the European Union. Montana district occupies the central part of northwestern Bulgaria, and in the last decade, the town of Montana established itself as an economic and cultural center of the Northwest. Archaeological finds and historical monuments from ancient times were discovered on the territory of the district. Shiny Thracian treasures, magnificent fortresses, sanctuaries, necropolis, settlements and towns witness the rich historical past. All of them bear the unique regional identity. They are a source of pride and a sense of belonging. The ancient Bulgarian history is the history of Thrace and the Thracians. The Bulgarian land has preserved countless treasures of Thracian rulers. Traces of their rich and diverse culture are found in all the countries where they once lived: Serbia, Turkey, Greece, Romania, Macedonia, Moldova. One of the most populous and powerful Thracian tribes was the Tribali tribe. They lived in the territory of nowadays northwestern Bulgaria, where Montana district is located. The fortress near the town of Montana, Castra ad Montanesium, is a proof of this. The fort is situated on Caletu Hill, at the northwest end of the city, and it was the main military and economic center in the region. Antique Montana is located near Augusta River on a natural height, on top of which the antique fortress was created, and at the foot of the fortress developed the ancient city, Montana. The first inhabitants of the hill lived in the Stone Copper Age. In this period of the history, people make an important transition from nomadic hunters to a more settled way of life connected with cultivation of land and construction of permanent settlements. The area that was later called Montana was chosen by the ancient people as a suitable place to live because of the fertile soils and the ability to be protected. This is what the dwelling from this era found during excavations indicate. The antique city is fortified by the Thracian tribe Tribali that inhabited the area until the 1st century BC with a strong fortress wall over a meter thick. The area inhabited by the Tribali is of interest for the new invaders because of the rich ore deposits, gold and silver river lodes, and exposed of processed copper. From the strategic point of view, the area of northwestern Bulgaria and the hilly part with 3 rivers are the sources of metal mining. Gold was extracted at the hilly part of Montana from the rivers Augusta, Suatica, and Berzia. These gold deposits were exploited by the Thracians, and the Romans continued this activity in a bigger scale. The Romans settled in the area in the end of the 1st century AD, attracted by the rich deposits of ore and gold alongside the Augusta River. They conquered the Thracian fortress and used it for their own purposes. At the time of the Roman Empire, the city flourishes. Roads that connected Montana with the rest of the empire were built and maintained. Except the ore extraction and the gold extraction, the main occupations at that time were agriculture and craftsmanship. In 3rd century AD, the city was raided by Gothic tribes. The fortress Castra ad Montanesium was built on top of the foundations of the ancient Thracian fortress on Calatu Hill in order to prevent their raids. 3 towers, a garrison basilica, a second fortress wall were explored as its main elements. At the beginning of the 3rd century, the fortress gate was narrowed in half, having in mind the barbarian invasions. A second fortress wall, which reinforces the gate, was built on this occasion because it was one of the most vulnerable points for the conquering of the fortress. The antique and early medieval fortress Calatu, near the town of Montana, is the cultural valuable in this area that is best revealed and exhibited to the public. It is the main tourist attraction in Montana municipality and has the status of an archaeological cultural monument with national importance. The close location of the antique complex next to the town facilities, the restoration activities, and the proximity to national roads favors its transmission into a tourist site for visitors. The town of Lom is located alongside the Danube River at the beginning of the Bulgarian section. The ancient city Almos is situated inside the town in its center. It occupied more than 41 DA. The fortress was made by the ancient Thracians and it was initially called Artanes, but later the Romans renamed it to Almos, and this is where the contemporary name comes from. The place was chosen by the Romans because it was convenient for defense. During the Roman Empire, the fortress was a large road station. It was constructed with the shape of a pentagon. There were several round towers which has a security function. The Romans preferred to settle around the estuaries of the rivers flowing into Danube River. This is how they built their city named Almos. It is believed that the name Almos was the name of the river, nowadays Lom River. This name was also adapted by the Romans to the name of the fortified place that was created here in this period. Over the years, this place grew up and served as a garrison for the passing horse squads, of which we have data from more recent times. It is a part of the security at the borders of the empire, a part of the Limes system that protected the borders of the empire on the north. It has more military and garrison functions that are specific, whereas valuable and useful for the explorers. According to the archaeologists, for the last 20 centuries, the life in the ancient city of Almos has existed without interruptions. This is also proved by the objects found during the excavations of the ancient city. It was definitely a surprise that except its strongest period up until 6th century, the town also existed during the Middle Ages. Here, in this exact area where we discovered semi-duck houses and dugouts from the Middle Ages, coins from the 10th to 14th centuries, Byzantine hollow coins from the Second Bulgarian Kingdom, a marble hat of Heracles, parts of votive plates of god Mitra, glass and clay dishes from the Roman and the late Antique Age were discovered during the excavations. The findings in the fortress have a serious scientific value. Today, they are exhibited in the Historical Museum in the town of Lom and could be seen by anybody. The ancient city of Almos is named a cultural monument with national importance. Nevertheless, the whole antique city has not been completely discovered and explored, and there are archaeological excavations to come. Except with its historical valuables and rich cultural heritage, Bulgaria is one of the 3 richest in mineral water territories on the planet Earth. There are more than 700 springs in our country, which have water that's diverse in its mineral content, temperature and properties. The most beautiful town in northwestern Bulgaria is located to the north, on the slopes of West Stara mountain, surrounded by picturesque mountain hills, rocks and ancient forest. The town of Vershets is full of curative mineral springs gushing all over the town. One of the first names of Vershets originates from the mineral water and the hot springs found on this territory. The name Vreštec, which means hot boiling water, is one of the oldest names of the town. The discovered remains of Roman balneological facilities and items in the town of Vershets witness about the use of the healing mineral waters ever since the ancient times. The waters were discovered since ancient times, and the first settlement was created around them, on top of which was built nowadays Vershets. The remains of various medical tools like scalpels that were found prove that these springs were used for treatment of soldiers injured in different battles in Roman times. The gushing springs in and nearby Vershets have a water temperature from 36.4 degrees Celsius to 38 degrees Celsius. The characteristic feature of water is low mineralized, colorless with no taste and smell. The water that comes from the spring in Vershets is specialized in the treatment of the cardiovascular system and the musculoskeletal system. Today, Vershets is one of the most preferable resort towns in Bulgaria. It has tens of luxurious hotels and guest houses where inexhaustible quantities of mineral water gush, and the surroundings of the town offer an opportunity for recreation and tourism. Vershets is a town of health, first because of the mineral water, which, when combined with the pure nature and air that's very fresh and beneficial, shape this maxim that Vershets is a town of health. The nature that's everywhere around the town is the proof of this. The most fascinating is the town's park named Sun Garden. This park is the second biggest natural park on the Balkan Peninsula after the park Borisova Gradina in Sofia. It is located on an area of 800 DA with pine tree plantations and exotic species that were specially transported here: ginkgo biloba, magnolia, persimmon. The park Sun Garden was built in the 30s, and the name derives from the fact that the alleys have the shape of a sun disk with its rays, and this is where this name comes from. At a later stage, a special stone was laid that reflects the sunlight. The atmosphere in the park represents a part of our ancient history: arches, Roman steps, the gazebo, the goddess of health Hygeia. The first state mineral bath with two pools, a male and a female, was built in 1910. Then the people willing to visit the bath with curative mineral water increased in number, and in 1930 a new bath was built next to the old one, and it has an impressive architecture in antique style. Overall, the new bath and the park were constructed in order to symbolize the antique past of Vershets. For example, the new bath has all the unique elements of the antique temples: frontos, columns, dunks, cornice and frieze. It has the masks of Asclepius, Hygeia and Panacea that are put above the windows of the rooms with the pools depicted on it. In the center of the park you could find Ivanchova Polyana, favorite place for picnics, sports events, feasts for the citizens and the guests of the town. Each of the alleys of the park leads to it. Their total length is 7 kilometers, and there are places to rest and also children's playgrounds. The town of Berkovica is located not far from Vershets. You could find one of the oldest clock towers in Bulgaria with a working clock mechanism. Built in 1762-1764, the clock tower is also a monument with national importance. The tower is made of quarried rock and wood, and it is 22 meters in height. There is a bell and a clock mechanism installed in the upper part of the tower. It was made in Bucharest, and it was brought to the Danube with bovine sleds. It crossed the Danube on a raft, and from there again with bovine sleds, and it arrived in Berkovica. The clock tower was constructed because the working people needed a common stop sign of the productive and professional activity. The rich cultural historical heritage of Montana district does not end with the historical sites. There are other cultural valuables that are attractive for the visitors. Another day filled with adventures and research interest. The ancient fortresses in Montana and Lom, the gushing springs in Vershets, and the preserved architectural buildings from the past and the museums represent a great destination for touring and sightseeing, because Montana district is an inexhaustible source of history and nature wealth that cannot be seen anywhere else. Project Green School Education as a promotion of sustainable use of cultural and natural heritage and resources. Project code 15.2.1001. The project is co-financed by the European Union through European Regional Development Fund under the Intergraph 5A Romania-Bulgaria program. The content of this movie does not necessarily represent the official position of the European Union.